What's going on, y'all? Appreciate y'all clicking this video. Make sure that you're also clicking like, subscribe. Leave us those comments with your thoughts on this video.
The NFC conference game. We got the Eagles. We got the Niners. The Eagles favored by 2.5. Over under on this one, 45.5. What are your thoughts here?
Taking the Dirty Birds and the under in this game.
The Falcons didn't get here.
Something like a 24-21 type game. Like, I think it's just under.
Yeah.
But I think more ways to hit the under in this game, just because both teams have, A to A plus type defenses. Niners game plan is going to be to keep it on the ground, right? Like, that's what works for them. You are efficient. You want to keep the ball out of Purdy's hands as much as possible. You have Christian McCaffrey, obviously, Debo and Ayuk and Kittle, who's been chipping in here in the playoffs. But ultimately, I think the Eagles win this game. I think the home field does it for them. I think offensively, they have A.J. Brown, who will cause the Niners fits. We saw DK Metcalf cause the Niners fits, right? It is these big, true X wide receivers on the outside that the Niners do struggle with a little bit more. So I think Devonta Smith might have a little bit quieter game. But that being said, I think Goddard's going to find a way to get his. I think A.J. Brown's probably going to go bonkers. They're going to have to lean on him. And the San Francisco 49ers, here's my bold call for the game, guys. It has been, I believe it's a 24-game streak where the San Francisco 49ers have not allowed a player to rush for over 70 yards. I think it happens this weekend. And I think it's Jalen Hurts. I think his scrambling ability is going to be monumental for this Eagles team. I think he gets over 70 rushing yards and the streak is broken.
Well, that's good because your prop is what?
My prop is Jalen Hurts over 48.5 rushing yards.
So you feel real comfortable about that?
I feel great about it. Honestly, I feel really good about that 48.5. I know that linebacker core is fast, but this Eagles backfield is quick, right? Miles Sanders is no slouch. Kenneth Gainwell kind of came out of nowhere last week against the Giants. Boston Scott's a great goal line back who's been able to punch it in. You have a tight end who's more than serviceable and two really good wide receivers on the outside. This is probably the most equipped skill position team to combat a very physical, very fast 49ers defense because it is going to stretch them on all levels. They're not going to be able to kind of tee in and try and take something away.
Derek, I'll let you go next because I'm odd man out here.
Okay. Well, I'm going to side with Kevin on both the Philadelphia and the under on this guy. Again, this is one of those that these two defenses will match up well. Purdy, I think, is going to have the tough time dealing with that pass rush there. And the Eagles do just enough to pull this thing out. This, again, feels like a field goal kind of game. I think I'm kind of right there with you, Kevin, on when you were talking about this being like a 24-21 type of thing. Like the hook takes me on the under to this one. Like it's really, really close there. As far as the prop goes, I've got Jalen Hurts going under 250.5 passing yards. I think this is going to be a little bit more of a grinded out type of game, a little bit more of a defensive chess match going on here. And these teams are going to keep it close all game long.
So you guys think that this game, if it weren't for commercial breaks, would end in like 2 hours and 10 minutes because of how much running of the football is going to happen in this game?
I think there's a really good chance of that, right? Like if you're San Francisco, you have Mr. Irrelevant playing quarterback, right? Like, yeah, and he's done a fantastic job, right? Far better than what anybody would have thought coming into the season, what he could have done, right? Outside of the Niners organization, nobody thought that this guy was, except for, if your last name's Purdy, probably. Thought that he was capable of doing this type of thing, right? Like, there's a reason he was the last pick. And all of the other teams took 7 rounds of passing on him to not do that, right? Like, had other teams known that he was going to perform this well, how many of those do you think would have that are quarterback needy would have stepped up and drafted him? Carolina comes to mind.
Yeah,
Denver.
all
Denver.
those teams have a smart head coach.
So, and a lot of it is that he runs Shanahan's system incredibly well, but you're going to want to keep the ball out of his hands and not put it on your rookie quarterback to try and win this game. Same thing on Philadelphia, right? Like, go ahead. Tell us your shots here.
I hear you. I'm taking the Niners because I called them 2 weeks ago to make it to the Super Bowl. So I will stick with my guns. I'm taking the Niners and I'm taking the over in this one. And I'll refer you to the last time Jalen Hurts and Brock Purdy met up on a football field.
A long time ago.
It was a long time ago, but it was bananas. And it was one of the better college football games in recent memory.
Now, tell me, do they play defense in San Francisco, and do they play defense in Philadelphia? Because they don't play defense in the Big 12.
So the NFL defenses are slightly different from there are some dissimilarities from the Big 12 defenses. There are some dissimilarities.
They just let 11 guys on the field that are called defensive players. In the NFL, they actually play defense.
Just the Ole defense. Just Ole. All right. All right. So I'm taking the 49ers in the over, mainly because everything points to this game being low scoring. So why the hell wouldn't it be a high scoring affair, right? Like, why not, right? So I'll take the Niners. I'll take the over, and I will take Kittle over 46.5 receiving yards for reasons that Kevin mentioned earlier in the show. That Philadelphia's defensive backfield is filthy good. And so I will assume that because of that, the security blanket for Purdy, which it has been for a while, will be George Kittle. And even more so in this game where the pass rush will get to him if he does need to throw the football. Kittle's going to be, in my opinion, target, the first read. And if he's not the first read, he's certainly the second read after a quick glance at whatever the first read is, because that dude's going to be covered. So I'll take Kittle with the over 46.5 receiving yards. I don't understand why that number is lower than last week's number, but it is lower than last week's over-under number. And I still think he probably ends up with as much, if not more, than he had in the game against Dallas.